Okay. Hey there. So this is really for the group that's trying to create um, like a light up box for outside of a door, kind of like the ONAIR sign that you would see at like outside of a recording studio or something like that. So, I think laser cutting is probably the right idea, but you could do this in Tinkercad too, and make it a 3D printed panel that you could put in there. You might be able to even do both. It's possible. So let me show you how we would do it in Tinkercad first, or in Gravit first, and then in Tinkercad following that. So, first of all, let's open up a new window here, and we'll go into gravit.io, and sorry, there's a 3D printer happening next to me, so it is a little noisy. There it is. You can see some of my projects right there. There's a project that I'm working on. I'll tell you about that afterwards. So bear with the sound of the printer next to me. But let's get back to this. We opened up Gravit over here, and you would go in, log in with your Google account if it doesn't automatically do that. Sign in with social providers, do whatever it says there. And then let's just, so that we all know where we're at with regards to our canvas, let's do it 12 by 12 inches. That's a square foot. And we're not going to take up the whole thing. So, first of all, we need to make our cut line for the panel. And I'm just doing a rough sketch of a rectangle. Right here we have a 9-inch rectangle, and we'll make that by 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's do it by 3 inches. That'll probably be enough for all the wording that you might want in there, and we can cut that on the laser. So we're going to take that down to 0% fill, and we're going to leave that border at 100%. And now let's just zoom in, so that's the majority of our thing. Now you could change the total width of this at this point, but you don't have to. So at this stage, we're going to add our text. So let's drag out a text box, and you can see it auto-populates. And we're going to put our words in that we would want to have on or off. So maybe it would say in session or whatever. You can make that say really whatever you want. And let's make that quite a bit bigger so everybody can see, and I think we even got to go bigger than that. Let's go 100. Okay, that looks pretty good for this font. But if you don't care for just the good old-fashioned Open Sans font, you could go in here and try and find something different. So I don't know. I like them all because they're all great. But let's just say we wanted, something that will be able to be laser cut kind of easily. Let's go with, just trying to find one here that I like. Let's go with this one. I don't know, Hammersmith one. Okay, that's not bad. Okay. So, I like what I'm looking at. Could we make it even bigger? Maybe. What I'm going to suggest is we're going to do a center alignment, and then we're going to select all these objects, and we're going to align that to the center this way, and this to the middle that way. Now it's right in the middle, more or less. And you can see, does it look right? We back up, we look, it looks okay. Okay. And we're going to do that one more time, and I'll show you why. So now we are going to go and change this object, that's text object, to a path. So we're going to go to the modify section, we're going to go to path, and we're going to convert this whole thing to a path. And now if I go to the subselect tool, I can subselect each of these letters, which we don't need to do, and we could see exactly what's going on here with regards to the object. Now, let's do this one more time. Center align. See it moved a tiny bit. And middle align. Now that one substantially moved it. And now it's really in the middle. And it's based off of that corner point, this corner point, and those two corner points there. So, this is looking good. I like what I'm looking at here. At this point, we have this selected and this selected. What we want to do is take our font, or now our objects. Those are compound path right here, and we're going to reduce the fill to 0 again and add a border. Now we have an outline. Remember, we're thinking we're going to cut this out. So the problem I see here is actually only in the O. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a rectangle like this, okay, and take our O. So we're going to go to subselect, and we're just going to, we're going to just take our O, if we can, zoom in. Well, actually it'll work even if we do it like this. And let's take that, let's take this, holding shift, I'm going to select that one, and let's try and cut those two objects. But first, let's go back here. Pointer. We're going to come to this rectangle, and what should we do here? Let's see what happens. Let's just take both and go in and go here, and let's do a difference. Okay, we don't want that. Edit, undo, Command Z. Let's try subtract. That's exactly what we want. And now we are ready. So what I did was I went here. Instead of union, we're going to subtract, and that will take that rectangle away. That's just what we want. Now, why did we do that? Well, this is going to be a hole. That's going to be a hole. This is going to be a hole. All of the lines are going to be a hole. If you really want to see this in action, let's just do this. Bring it back. Zoom in. If we want to see what our hole is going to look like here, let's click this. Click off of that. We're back in pointer view. And let's just see what the wood would look like. So let's fill this at 100%. And let's make it red so we can, or you know what? Black will really make it stand out. Okay. Oh, you know what? We can't do that because we would have to take this, just like we just did with the subtraction tool. We would have to subtract it from the rectangle. We don't need to do that, though, in this case. We just want the rectangle. We just want the things here, and it's just going to cut those as holes out of the bigger piece. That's it. And it's going to be great. We did the O like that because we wanted the O to stick to the wood, the cutout of the O to stick to the wood there. So that's it. Now we would go to Export and Scalable Vector Graphic, and you're done. Okay, so we can save that. You can save that as whatever. We'll save it as in sesh, and we're good. Done. Okay. Tinkercad. What would we do there? Well, remember I got a bunch of transparent filament, so you could do something along that line. You could even use this, and then we just exported it as an STL or SVG. What we could do is go back in here. Remember, we're just creating a new design at that point, and I've already logged in. All that's done. But what if we went import, choose file, and see that it supports SVG? Let's try and import our thing that we just made, which is called design, and that's the wrong place. Downloads, design. I don't know what it's going to do. Our board, yeah. Okay. Now, it's 9 inches, so it's too big. But look at that. Wow. Nice. Excellent. It won't work. It's too big. But, and you can see the work plane. But if you wanted to do something along those lines, size it down, bring it in. And what you could do following that, maybe you wanted just the letters to be filled in with that filament. Well, that's fine too. How would we do that? Well, we could, let's go back a section. Okay, so this is the actual object. What we would do is if we're trying to get just the letters, we would need this duplicated quite a few times. And what we're going to do, I know there are holes in the hole, but you'll see why I'm doing it like this in just a moment. You would break it down into sections that can fit, so IN will fit, SES would fit, SIO will fit, and then you'd have to break off the N there too. And let's just say, let's go back a step, let's go back, and let's take one of these. Okay, first of all, you would need to duplicate it, right? And you need a bunch of these, and you would need to do this for each section. So what we're doing is we're getting rid of the space we don't need by deleting it, by adding a hole. So now if we group that together, we're left with just that in. Oh, and a big line, because I missed. Okay. And you would do that then here and get rid of the IN, right? So we'll come back here. We'll just move this. Okay. And group it. This is just one way to do this. Also, we could just laser cut out acrylic and have that fill in. We would just scale it down a tiny bit so that it would slip right in nicely. But, okay, at this point, what we have is a great solid. But what we're going to do is take this whole shape and put a block over it, expand it out, and make sure that it's in the hole. So what do I mean? Well, make sure that it's going to get cut all the way, but not leave anything remaining. So we're going to pull this out. Okay. It's okay if it's going to get cut a little bit, like that. But we want to make sure that it's all going to get in there. Okay. So I'm not even playing around. I want to make sure that I'm left with just the IN. Now if we group that block together, we group, it's gone. And now we're left with just those letters. And at this point, we would export as letters. Good. Okay. Well, we saved it as letters. We would export as an STL letters. But let's just say we wanted to do the whole thing in Tinkercad. This is also how you can import your own fonts if you don't like the fonts that they like. Okay. Or they have. So how would we do that? Well, we'd make another rectangle, and well, you could take some text here and drag it in, so you can't see it, but there it is. And we're gonna make it a hole. Same idea as last, and we're gonna expand it out. We're gonna make it long and big. There we go. And we're gonna make sure that the text and the thing is aligned to the center and to the middle. Okay, and we want to change the text because it just says text. And we text change. What would we write? Well, I'd write in session, right? In sesh. Too big, right? So we scale it down, holding shift to keep that ratio there, to make the font not look funny. Still too big. You want a little bit of a border too, I would say. And we align it. I kind of like it a little bit low justified there. So we'll leave it like that. And You could go in, you could play with the fonts if you want. I got a multi-language font, but you can see there's only 4 in here. Change it to sans if you want it like that. But I kind of like that one. And you group again, and you are in session. And if we go over top, boom. And that is a big hole out of the whole panel, and you would be good to go. But again, this O would cause a problem, and so would the lowercase e. That would drop through, and so would the O. So what do? Well, it's pretty simple. We would do the same process. We group all this, group, and we just need to connect that O to the perimeter, right? So go back here, very simply take a cube, make it small. You don't want it to be too visible, but you do want it to connect. And let's see here. And move it in. Okay, that looks good. Alright, and then we would duplicate that again and move that here. Okay, try and get it in the middle. I don't know if that's in the middle or not. You could go to the top view. I'd probably do better. Whatever. And we're going to group all that. Now you have a line going through, which you just visually kind of don't see it, but it is necessary for that to be connected, because you will see that line less than missing the entire inner piece of that. So I do recommend adding that. The dot here is fine because that's supposed to be seen through, and it doesn't need to be connected to anything because it's whole. Alright, so those are the 2 ways that you could probably make some sort of signage that would go inside of a case that would be then illuminated by some sort of light that could receive an IR signal, and that's the goal. And I think it's doable, especially with this little help. So, a couple of different ways we can go about this, and I hope you have success. I told you before that I would show you what it is I am working on currently at home, because that's where I am right now. And I saw this fun project. It seemed like it was worthwhile. I don't know. And what I'm doing is I have taken apart a DVD-ROM drive, DVD CD-ROM drive, 2 of them from a old computer, right? And I've taken them apart so that I get this nice piece out. And this nice piece is going to be used as one of the axes for a CNC plotter. And you can see this one's kind of clipping, which isn't ideal, but this one's really good. This one has 2 metal rails on the inside, and it moves nice and smooth. Oh, maybe not. Never mind. Well, that might not be a problem. So anyway, it moves up and down. The other one's going to lay like this, back and forth. And then what I can do is attach a pen to it and make a pen plotter that's based off of an Arduino and some gerbil code and G code and all sorts of stuff. And it's going to work just like our 3D printer over here. It's moving on the bottom, and then it's moving side to side. And that's all it needs with a pen plotter, except there's going to be a stepper motor here where the hot end is, and that's going to allow the pen to go up and down when it needs to write or doesn't. Needs to write or doesn't. Well, that sounded good. Okay. So you can see how it would work based on a 3D printer here. Not much different. Actually, I saw somebody even make a 3D printer out of this, but the print bed is like about an inch and a half, maybe, square, so that it's not worthwhile. But the pen thing isn't going to be much bigger, but it's just a funny thing to do, a fun project. And then I'm learning things in the process about old DVD drives, in fact. So that's where I am, and I think you have something to go off of, and I look forward to seeing the finished product. I think we'll have some success, hopefully. If you have questions, let me know. All right. Take care. Good luck.